Knowledge is a treasure, but practice is the key to it. By Lao Tzu. Good morning, everyone. Today, we will be reporting on best practices in heritage tourism, focusing on accessibilities, accommodation, site interpretation, safe and security, sanitation, and visitor management plans. This is crucial for preserving our cultural treasures while welcoming visitor sustainability. For our learning objectives, by the end of this chapter, we should be able to articulate the barometers of a successful heritage site or cultural event, enumerate the best practices of heritage sites and cultural attractions in the Philippines, and enumerate the best practices, heritage sites, and cultural attractions around the world. So, barometers of successful heritage attraction. So, in the world of heritage tourism, barometers of success are the specific tools and indicators that used to measure how well a site, like an ancient temple or a historic building, is doing in terms of attracting the visitors or making money, and most importantly, preserving history. So, the popularity of a site or attraction is one of the way considered a heritage tourism product to be success when it can draw crowds and possibly earn revenues directly and indirectly and consequently profits. So, a successful heritage sites nag-attract siya ng large crowds, nag-generate siya ng revenue na parang nagdadirect siya from the tickets or indirect from the nearby businesses like hotels and shops and turns a profit. So, high footfall shows that the site appeals to the tourists and locals. So, eto kasi, nagbubush siya sa local economy and nag-spread siya ng awareness of cultural heritage. So, recognition by credible international organizations like UNESCO or travel publications and media firms like Lonely Planet and National Geographic can also be a good measure of success. So, what it means, yung endorsement from trusted group kagaya ng UNESCO, yung World Heritage List or yung Lonely Planet, yung travel guides, or yung National Geographic is yung magazine or yung TV na it signals the quality and yung global appeal. So, these awards, nagbi-build siya ng prestige. Like, nag-a-attract siya ng maraming visitors and binavalidate niya yung yung importance ng cultural. So, next is sustainability, or being able to prolong the useful life of a heritage tourism asset in another barometer of success, particularly in the eyes of historians, conservationists, curators, artists, and academics. So, sa sustainability, long-term preservation. Yung site, dapat mamimaintain nito yung condition over time na walang damage from overuse. So, weather or neglect. So, this is prized by experts like mga historians, yung mga conservationists, yung mga curators, yung mga artists, and yung mga academics. So, kasi alam naman natin na yung heritage is napaka-irreplaceable niya. Kaya dapat sustainability, ini-ensure natin yung mga benefits para sa mga future generation. So, best practices in the Philippines. So, we have here the marketing. So, sa marketing, ito yung about sa positioning. For example, dun sa Iloilo City. So, yung practice ng Iloilo City, they implemented consistent mass media and word of mouth strategies, showcasing the city's quaint beauty and character through the stunning visuals and well-written articles and a strong social media preference. So, si Iloilo City, ina-implement nila yung pagiging consistent with the use of mass media. This will preserve and consistently marketed image na nagko-continuous ng large investors and tourists alike, na proving na yung strategy nila is effective and masusustain yung mga attractions. So they use marketing for implementing the Iloilo City. So next is branding. So when it comes to branding, the best practices in the vegan is branding. So si vegan leverages its historic ancestral houses as a primary charm point, reinforcing this branding with every aspect of the visitor experience. Kagaya na lang ng local cuisine nila na pinakbet, bagnet, vegan longganisa, and yung transportation nila yung kalesa, and yung souvenir is yung mga inabel, basi, and bornay. So, bakit isa si vegan sa mga, bakit isa sa mga best practices ang branding sa vegan? Kasi, yung comprehensive or yung immersive experience, ini-ensure nito yung brand na maging consistently reinforced, charming the prospective visitor and exceeding yung expectation upon the arrival. So kapag maganda ang branding ng isang place or ng isang historic ancestral houses, ma maano na nito yung aspect ng mga visitor, yung mga experience nito and mai-ensure nila yung expectation ng mga turista upon the arrival. So kumbaga kapag na, 'di ba, kapag alam na nila ito yung branding ng isang places, they expect or they immersed experience kung paano nila maano yung sa visitors. So sa best and practice in the Philippines naman sa tour guiding and interpretation. So isa na dito yung sa Puerto Princesa. So yung kailangan natin dito sa practices is yung attraction, kailangan mag-employ sila ng mga guides na who are knowledgeable enough, lively and personable, and sensitive to the visitor needs. Kasi syempre, when it comes to a heritage sites, kailangan talaga natin ng mga tour guiding and interpretation para lang mas malaman or ma-well-known ng mga turista yung lugar na yon. And magre-result yun ng highly engaging and memorable tours na which is magsisignificant ng enhancement or ng enhances sa mga visitor satisfaction and yung overall nun, yung perception ng heritage attraction, which is mas ma-showcase mo sa mga tourists yung history or yung information ng isang heritage. So, for the next is the visitor management. So, sa visitor management naman, for example na to is yung Sinulog Festival in the Cebu. So, yung festival, nag-encourage siya ng early booking and nag-immerse siya ng mga participant ng infectious street dancing, like mga face painting, ng merrymaking, ng various competition, ng exhibits, ng food trips, and ng religions. So, bakit siya best practices for the visitor management sa Sinulog Festival in Cebu? Kasi, yung strength ng visitor engagement, nai-ensure nito yung high tourist turnout, like magpa-flights, magho-hotels, tapos mag-ano sila for a weeks before the event, tas nagde-demonstrate to ng strong demand and participation ng mga turista sa isang heritage culture ng isang place. So, for the last one is the good value for money experience. So, bakit kasama si good value for the money experience sa best practices in the Philippines? So, for example nito, si General Santos Fishport. So, dito sa General Santos Fishport, yung daily down activities ng Fishport, kung saan yung mga local and yung mga turista can hanggal for a fresh fish na na organize and malinis, pero yung extra service nito of Netly is yung packing purchases in airtight boxes and specialized bag is provided. So sa General Santos Fishport, they provide good value for money experience. Kumbaga, nag-offer sila ng mga activities sa Fishport, tapos mag-aan sila ng mga fresh na isda na which is organized and clean, na pwede nilang madagdag sa extra services nila kasi best practices ito sa General Santos, kasi this is underrated attraction na kinukonsider na successful kasi nagpo-provide sila ng unique tas authentic experience na merong good value for money, na nag-create to ng value through an extra services tapos efficient operation. Kumbaga, yung value ng money mo meron siyang also good value for experience. Hindi lang sila magbabayad ka ng bayad. They also practice na mag-provide ng mga unique experiences sa mga tourists na may good value yung mga perang ini-spend nila sa travel nila or sa pinupuntahan nila. Kumbaga, you need to sa Philippines, this is very important kasi napaka-great or napaka-important talaga ng value ng pera when it comes to experiences. Tapos yan din yung mga hinahanap ng mga tourists na mai-spend talaga nila yung money na ginagastos nila for better experiences. Kasi kung katulad natin, naglalabas tayo or nagagastos tayo ng pera for our tour to experience other things. So, binabayaran natin yung experience natin. So, they practices that the good value for money experience. So, next reporter po.
So, good day everyone, I'm Christine Regalario, and today I'll be discussing other best practices in the Philippines. So first is the conservation program. So conservation program protects historical sites and natural heritage. So this is important po in heritage tourism because tourists visit places to see preserved culture and history. So for example po, yung Bataha Reefs National Park is protected to preserve its natural heritage and para po makapag-attract ng eco-tourist. So the second one is maintenance and upkeep. So maintenance and upkeep ensures that heritage sites remain clean, safe, and attractive. So this is important po when it comes to heritage tourism since well-maintained sites give a better experience to visitors. So for example po, Intramuros is regularly restored so tourists can appreciate its historical structures. Next is innovation. So innovation po helps improve tourism services through technology and new ideas. So importante naman po ito kasi it makes visiting heritage sites more convenient. For example, tourists can use GCash for cashless payments, when visiting heritage locations or heritage sites. So, next is social responsibility. So, social responsibility means protecting communities and supporting local people. So, in heritage tourism, this ensures that tourism benefits local. So, for example po, during Typhoon Yolanda, many organizations help rebuild communities. So, including na po doon yung mga heritage areas or heritage site na na-rebuild po nila. The fifth one is environmentalism. So, environmentalism protects the natural surroundings of heritage sites. So, this is important because a clean environment enhances tourism. So, for example, sa Boracay Island, it was rehabilitated to restore its environment and improve tourist experience. Another one is human resource management. So, this focuses on training tourism workers like guides, and staff. This is important because skilled workers provide better service and share knowledge about heritage. So, the last but not the least is diversity and inclusion. So, diversity and inclusion ensure that all cultures and people are respected. So, and here in heritage tourism, this promotes understanding of different traditions. So, for example, Quezon City, they promote inclusive programs that celebrate different Filipino cultures. So, that's all po. Thank you.
So this topic highlights the key global best practices around the world. So in 2011, the World Heritage Committee introduced the World Heritage Capacity Building Strategy to address the growing demand for skills in conserving and managing heritage sites. So this initiative emphasizes that preservation is not just about protecting the places, but about equipping people with the right knowledge and skills. So in Peru, heritage management focuses on community empowerment. At Machu Picchu, locals are trained as professional tour guides. So in this approach, this approach creates a triple impact: the stronger cultural pride, the better preservation awareness, and sustainable livelihood for rural communities. So, meanwhile, in Slovenia demonstrates the importance of strategic partnership. Heritage sites work closely with the schools, offering apprenticeships and jobs, and even involving young people in sites operation. So in this model, it promotes the inclusivity and innovation, of course, as younger generations contribute the fresh ideas while gaining practical experience. So, across these examples, one principle stands out, which is the effective heritage management is people centered. It succeeds when it builds capacity, em- empowers the community, and fosters the collaboration. So, it is also critical to create among locals as well as the tourists. So, in United Kingdom, a key best practices is building strong public understanding of heritage significance among both local and tourists. So, the heritage sites across the England, Scotland, Wales, and the Northern Ireland are well documented and carefully interpreted, reflecting deep national pride. So the landmark such as Western ay yung mga landmark kagaya ng Westminster Abbey, the Buckingham Palace, the Big Ben, yung mga ganon, have become a global icons. So their success lies in effective storytelling and national identity, turning historical sites into meaningful cultural experiences that people can understand and value that. So, meanwhile in Ireland, the focus shift to delivering the high quality visitor experiences. Did you know that at doon sa Banrati Castle, the heritage is brought to life through the immerse activities. Yung visitors doon don't just see the site, but they experience it through the medieval banquets, the traditional music, and interactive village life inside that park. So, with that, this integrate approach transform heritage from static display into engaging, memorable experience, ganon. And whether through education in the United Kingdom or immersive tourism in Ireland, the goal is same lang siya. Ang pinaka-goal lang is to connect people deeply with heritage, ensuring its relevance and preservation for future generations. So, here naman, hindi ko na siya po babasahin lahat. So, in this topic naman, across the countries like Australia, Mexico, India, and Morocco, this is a growing best practices is the development of indigenous tourism. So this approach, it integrates native culture into the visitor experience through what? Through cuisines, the arts, craft, traditional livelihoods, their clothing, music, dance, language, and customs. So indigenous tourism does more than attract the visitors because it preserves the culture identity while generating income for the local communities while ensuring tradition are passed on rather than lost. So in part of the Middle East, the focus is on sustainable heritage business planning. So despite of the environmental limitations such as the vegetation, many countries in region invest in long-term um, long-term strategies supported by strong financial resources and the business foresight. So sustainability here is driven by innovation and strategic planning. ensuring the heritage sites remain viable and competitive over time. So from the indigenous tourism to sustainability business models, the global lesson is clear. Like the heritage management succeeds when it balances cultural preservation with the economic sustainability. So with that, we explored some of the top heritage site and cultural attraction around the world, highlighting how the traditions, the religion, and the history continue to shape global tourism identity. And one of the most celebrated festivals is the Holi Festival. So, the Holi Festival is in India. It is known as the festivals of springs, colors, and love, as you can see in that picture. So, it gathers millions of people who throw the colored powders to celebrate the arrivals of spring and the triumph of good over evil. So, did you know that Holi is a powerful example of living heritage, where culture is actively experienced and shared with the world. So, meanwhile, many festivals around the world are anchored on religious purposes and draw huge crowds among the sacred religious events. Acknowledged as the biggest religious event is the Hajj. The Hajj is widely recognized as the largest annual religious gathering in the world. It is an essential act of worship in Islam and one of its five pillars, making it a mandatory duty for all Muslims who are physically and financially able to undertake the journey of at least once in their lifetime. So the Hajj means pilgrimage to the Kaaba, the house of Allah. So the pilgrimage takes place in Mecca, specifically centered around the Kaaba, which Muslims believe to be the house of Allah. So the Hajj typically lasts for 5 to 6 days and involves a series of deeply symbolic rituals that reflect devotion, the unity, and the submission to God. So each year, million of pilgrimage, like 2.35 million pilgrimage from all over the world perform the Hajj. So in 2017, the number of attendees reached the 2.35 million pilgrimage. So marking one of the highest recorded turnouts. So this figure has generally continued to rise annually, demonstrating the growing global Muslim population and the enduring significance of the pilgrimage. So, however, noong 2022, the Saudi government significantly limited the participation due to the global outbreak of the COVID-19. So this unprecedented this unprecedented decision was made syempre to protect the public health and also to prevent the spread of the virus. So they allowing only a controlled number of pilgrims to perform the rituals. The Hajj is stand as not only a religious obligation, but It is also a powerful symbol of unity among Muslim worldwide. It bringing together people of diverse cultures and backgrounds in a shared act of faith. So Angkor Wat is the largest archaeological site in the world. It covering about 162.2 hectares. It built by the Mer Empire between the 9th and 15th centuries under the King Jayavarman II. And it includes the Angkor Wat Temple, it was the largest Buddhist temple globally. Originally dedicated to Hindu god Vishnu, the sites reflect the transition of the empire's dominant religions from Hinduism to Mahayana Buddhism. So among the active worship site in the world, the biggest church is the Saint Peter's Basilica in Vatican in Italy. So it serves as the main site where the Pope leads the masses and major religious events. It is one of its most significant celebrations is yung the Mass of the Easter Sunday, which draw millions of faithful Catholics. Kung yung kung yung Hajj is for Muslim, this one is for the Catholics. So millions ng mga faithful Catholics ang dumadalo din dito. The basilica has an internal area of about 15,160 square meters and can accommodate up to 20,000 worshippers. So originally commissioned by Emperor Constantine in 320 AD. It was later redesigned siya and expanded by Pope Nicholas V during the 15th century with further restoration over the years. So the basilica is also renowned for its artistic heritage, including around 140 statues of saints and created over a span of 41 years.
In this chapter, we learned about best practices and heritage tourism. One important way to understand these practices is by looking at the superlatives, or the biggest, largest, and most outstanding sites and events in the world. This example show us what makes a heritage attraction successful and worth emulating or copying. So let's come now to continue the top heritage sites and attraction in the world. In the art world, we also have the Louvre Museum in Paris and France. So it is the biggest art museum in the world, measuring 72,735 square meters. It was built in the late 12th century. So it also the most visited museum with 9.6 million visitors in 2019. What they do is that visitors view famous artworks, painting, and historical artifacts, including the Leonardo da Vinci of Mona Lisa. So, in connection to best practices, it is successful because it practices preservation and conservation to protect priceless treasures. It also shows excellent sustainable management by handling huge crowd efficiently while providing a quality visitors experience. So next is the Grand Egyptian Museum in Giza, Egypt. So touted as the largest archaeological museum, it spans 491,000 square meters and opened in 2020. So it has the colossal statue of Parao Ramses II at the entrance and houses over 100,000 artifacts. So what they do is that it showcases the lifestyle, treasure, and culture of ancient Egyptians and pharaohs. So the connection to best practices of this is that it demonstrates safeguarding heritage, ensuring ancient relics are protected and displayed properly for education and future generations. So next is in entertainment, we also have Disneyland Orlando and Florida, USA. So it is the largest contemporary theme park covering 25 acres. It opened in 1971. So what they do is that it offers fun activities such as rides, parades, fireworks, and character meet and greets. So in connection to the best practices, Disneyland is a model of sustainable management. Even though it is a clean, safe, and well-organized. So, it shows how to create a business that is profitable yet maintains and high standard. So next, in nature and wildlife, we also have Northeast Greenland National Park. So it is the largest national park in the world, spanning 375,000 square miles. So it has very few people, but is rich in wildlife like polar bears, Arctic foxes, and wild roses. So what they do is that it serves as a sanctuary where animals are protected and preserved in their natural habitat. So, in connection to the best practices, it follows the practice of conservation. It shows that big also means protecting nature for future generation, not just for tourism. So, when it comes to event and festivals, it also have Donauin Selfest and Vienna, Austria. So, it is the biggest music festival, attracting over 3 million people annually with more than 200 acts. So, what they do is that it features live concert, music performances, and entertainment on multiple stages. So, in connection to best practices, it is successful because it follows community engagement and sustainable crowd management, organizing large events safely and enjoyable. So, another events and festival, it also the Rio Carnival in Brazil. So, this is the biggest cultural parade. It is held before Lent. What they do is that it features massive street dancing, vibrant samba parades, and festive celebrations. So, in connection to best practices, it promotes authenticity and cultural identity, keeping traditions alive. So, it demonstrates best practices by preserving culture while effectively boosting tourism. So, next is the Olympics. So, the biggest modern sporting event participated by over 200 countries, held every 4 years. So, what they do is that it hosts various sports competitions and brings athletes together globally. So, in connection to best practices, it represents global unity and excellence with strict standard in organization and sportsmanship. Next is the Biennial World Indigenous Games. So, the biggest indigenous sporting event, celebrating native culture, and also it features traditional sport like wrestling, spear toss, and other native games. So, in connection to these best practices, it follows cultural preservations and inclusivity, giving importance to traditions and making sport diverse. Next is the Oktoberfest in Germany. So, the biggest food and beverage festival held for 2 weeks in October. So what they do is that it involves beer consumption, traditional food, music, dancing, and wearing a Bavarian costume. So in connection to these best practices, it strictly follow authenticity, keeping tradition and culture alive while attracting millions of visitors. So another nature and wildlife, it also the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. So it is the largest coral reef system stretching 300,044 square kilometers with over 3,000 individual reefs. So what they do is that it is the home to billions of marine life. People visit here to snorkel, dive, and appreciate the underwater beauty. So, in connection to these best practices, it follows environmental sustainability, ensuring that marine life and natural beauty are preserved despite being a major tourist of destinations. So next, in 2001, Swiss Corporation or New Seven Wonders Foundation initiated a relatively new listing of top attraction, mostly the heritage base, to be recognized via the 7 new wonders of the world, last selected through online votes. So below is the latest list as inscribed by the organization. So the first site or attraction is that the Great Wall of China in China. So date completed, which is 7th century. Next is the Petra in Jordan, 100 before Common Era. Next, the Christ the Redeemer in Brazil in 1932. Next is the Machu Picchu and Peru and 1450 AD. So next is the Chichen Itza in Mexico, 600 AD. Next is the Colosseum in Italy in 80 AD. So lastly is the Great Pyramid of Giza, Egypt, and 2560 before Common Era. So why they are called wonders? Because they were chosen because they represent outstanding human achievement, incredible architecture, deep history, and cultural significance that amaze people all over the world. So meanwhile, the same organization initiated a new list, this time the new 7 Wonders of Nature between 2007 and 2011. The result of the global were as follow, which is meron tinatawag na new 7 Wonders of Nature. So the first site or attraction is that the Jeju Island in South Korea. Next, Iguazu Falls in Argentina and Brazil. Next, the Halong Bay in Vietnam. Next is the Puerto Princesa Underground River, which is our Philippines. Next is the Table Mountain in South Africa. Next is the Komodo in Indonesia. Next is the Amazon rainforest in Brazil, Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, Bolivia, Ecuador, Guyana, Suriname, and Prince Genya. So why they are called wonders of nature? Because they were selected because of their unique natural beauty or breathtaking landscape, rich biodiversity, and environmental importance that must be protected. So, lastly, a pool of the top heritage cities around the world dubbed as the new 7 wonder cities yielded the following result, which is the Durban in South Africa, Bigan in Philippines, Havana in Cuba, Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, Beirut in Lebanon, Doha in Qatar, La Paz in Bolivia. So, why they are called wonders of cities? Because they were recognized because they are excellent example of well-preserved heritage, unique culture, and impressive cityscape and successful tourism management. So, in a chapter summary, for heritage sites and attraction to be successful and sustainable, we should emulate or copy the best practices used by this world-class example. So, meron tayong tinatawag na key success factors, which is the first one is that understand the significance or know why the place is valuable. Next, form partnership or we should say work together with government and private sectors. So, next is the engage communities or involve the local people. And fourth is the develop indigenous tourism, like promote local culture and arts. Next is the quality experience, like give tourists a safe and enjoyable visit. Or the lastly is the sustainable operations, which is plan well so the site does not get destroyed. So for the closing of this chapter, to conclude, these sites became top heritage attraction not just because they are the biggest, but because they follow the best practices or they understand their value, engage communities, and plan for sustainability. And if we emulate this, we can also make our own destination successful and protected. So that's all. Thank you.